Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to cover every single type of hair removal that exists from temporary to permanent methods. So let's get started. Starting off with an unconventional option, these are hair growth inhibitors. So these come in the form of sprays or cream, and they're intended to reduce or inhibit hair growth permanently. So hair growth inhibitors only work in conjunction with traditional hair removal methods such as waxing or tweezing. The hairs need to be removed from the root. Then you apply your hair growth inhibitor, which then blocks the hair follicle and in time slows down and inhibits hair growth permanently. It's definitely not an option for everyone because the effectiveness depends entirely on the individual using it. Personally, I don't know if I can be bothered doing 2 steps for permanent hair removal. So do your research, investigate the safety of the ingredients, the costs involved, how long you may have to use it for depending on the location of hair removal and the type of hair that you have. Next up, we're going to move on to the most temporary and probably everybody's first introduction to hair removal, which is shaving. Shaving cuts the hair shaft at the surface of the skin, and contrary to popular belief, it does not make the hair shaft thicker or darker. Shaving has definitely come a long way in terms of tools and gadgets that's available, and I feel this is especially true for women. Dermaplaning is one example of this, and it's a great option for women. It's basically the process of using a surgical scalpel to gently scrape away the facial hair. Now, an added bonus of this is it also rids the skin of any buildup of dead skin, giving your face a nice glow. Now, there's many at-home dermaplaning devices out there. I highly recommend going to a trained professional because if it is not done the right way, it can scar your skin. So if the blade gets caught on hairs and it's dragged across your skin, that can lead to scarring. Staying on the temporary hair removal train, we're going to be talking about hair removal pads. Now, it's essentially the same as shaving, however, you're not using a blade, so the risk of nicking yourself is eliminated. So these are basically pads that have a sandpaper-like texture which erodes away the hair gently as you rub in circular motions. Now, I've used these before and I really like them because you don't have to be in the shower to use them, your skin doesn't have to be wet, you use it dry, and I also feel like it gives you a little bit of an exfoliation and gets rid of any dead skin cells. You do have to be careful not to overdo it on the rubbing because it can irritate your skin and make it a little bit red. I feel like one of the only reasons why I stopped using these were because they were just a pain to buy. They were shipping from different countries, shipping was expensive, and one of the only chemists that I found that stocked them in Australia was like yonkers away from where I lived, and I couldn't be bothered just to drive to get hair removal pads. Otherwise, I would have kept using them if they were readily available. So I'm quickly going to touch on hair removal creams as well, because they can be a good option for hair removal if you're looking for something quick and on the go. So these basically work by dissolving the hair, and unfortunately they tend to be overlooked because of their horrible smell and the risk of burning your skin with using. If you leave the cream on for too long, it can really irritate the skin. But like shaving, I feel like hair removal creams have come a long way. They smell better, and I feel like the formulas have improved. They're much more gentle on the skin, so it's always something to keep in mind. So now we're going to get off the temporary hair removal train and jump onto the semi-permanent hair removal train, and our first stop are epilators. So epilation involves removing each hair from its follicle, and it might be a more favorable option than some other semi-permanent hair removal methods because the really good devices can pick up the smallest of hair. So you basically do not have an awkward in-between period where you have to let your hair grow to a certain length before it can be removed. So besides the fancy, expensive epilators, tweezing and threading are also considered forms of epilation. Tweezing, plucking the hair, pretty self-explanatory, and threading, as the name suggests, uses a thread to pluck out the hair from its follicle. So moving on to waxing, which is a very common method of hair removal. It's technically also a method of epilating the hair. However, it is different from previously mentioned techniques because your hair does need to be a certain length in order for it to be removed effectively. So there are many different types of waxes that you can use, and some are more suited to certain parts of the body and certain types of hair. So if you're starting off with soft warm wax, it's also known as strip wax. So once you apply the wax, you do have to apply a cloth on top of it and then wax the hair. There's also warm hard wax, so it applies warm and then it hardens as it cools. It's also known as the strip free wax because as it hardens, it acts as the strip itself, so you can just pluck the hair without using a cloth or anything like that. And another type of wax is sugaring. So it's probably one of the oldest forms of waxing and also the least common now. But it's one that people like to DIY, and it usually involves some combination of lemon, sugar and hot water. There's lots of recipes out there that you can Google and try yourself. So moving on to more permanent options of hair removal, we're going to start off with electrolysis. So electrolysis is performed by an electrologist, and it's a truly permanent method of hair removal. So it basically uses a very fine sterile probe which is inserted into the hair follicle, and then a localized electrical current is delivered which helps detach the hair from the hair follicle, and then it easily slides out of the follicle with the aid of tweezers. So I really like electrolysis as a method of hair removal because there are no restrictions on the person's skin color and there are no restrictions on the color of your hair. So with some lasers, you cannot use it on deeper and darker skin tones, and also you cannot use it on very light and fine hair. So speaking of lasers, I'm going to be discussing them next. I'm going to talk about lasers and IPL together because I feel like some people use these terms interchangeably and think they're the same thing, and they're not. So the main difference between laser and IPL is the type of light that's used. So IPL, intense pulse light, is a broadband pulsed light source, whereas laser is a monochromatic coherent light source. So both IPL and laser reaches the hair root via melanin, so that's why both of these methods work really well for people with light skin and dark hair. So like I said before, technology has fortunately advanced, so there are lasers such as the ND YAG, which are more suitable for people with deeper, darker skin tones. So this laser actually bypasses the melanin on your skin and goes straight to the hair follicle, reducing your chances of burning and pigmentation. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this very long video. I haven't done a long chatty video in a long time. If you found this video useful and informative, then please subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!